So today was the conclusion of the first full day of the leadership conference. Last night was the gala. It was a lot of fun. We got to see the AIM Pratt Fountainheads. I've gone on about it on multiple places on Facebook. It's posted up on my blog, put up a video, amazing concert. The keynote address, however, was a little troubling. The speaker, one of the higher muck-to-mucks from the AIM Pratt Center for Leadership Development, really renowned in the Jewish community, was basically the thesis of his whole speech was that the way to stay pure in things like politics and policy is by wanting to show others that you can do it right and having people who you really care about to keep you on the straight and narrow. He expanded on that point. Now, this was a 20-minute speech. I'm deeply condensing it so we can delve a little further into the actual nitty-gritty. He expanded on that point to discuss Israel and the use of, or the purpose, if you will, of diaspora Jewry as holding on to and keeping Israel itself on the proper path. Now, as a diaspora Jew, especially a diaspora Jew coming from the Evergreen State College, coming from a college where for years students have been saying, Israel, you're doing it wrong. And we have that in very Jewish voices, we have that in non-Jewish voices, we have that coming from Native Americans and Latinos and your usual waspy people. But we get this message coming out of Israel, you're doing it wrong. And the big forces that are in the Jewish world, the big organizations are saying, Evergreen, you can't talk about Israel that way. Now here I am, in Israel, and I'm being told that it's the job of the diaspora Jew to keep Israel on the straight and narrow. It's causing a little bit of a dissonance for me. Myself. The main thing I strive for is creating a space. At least during my time at Evergreen, that was my goal. I spoke with students and faculty who felt that they had different opinions than the mainstream Evergreen opinion and didn't feel that they had a venue wherein they could properly express themselves. Not to try to persuade people, not to show people that they were wrong, but just to say, look, maybe there's another way. So I tried, very invitationally, without using labels like self-hating Jew or anti-Semite, to invite everybody to the table, and I mean everybody. I tried to co-sponsor events with the very same people who were pushing campus to do BDS. I have invited the Israeli Consul General out to a I'm going to call it semi-private. It wasn't publicized, it wasn't invited, but it wasn't one-on... It was invitation only, but larger than one-on-one dinner at a public restaurant in Olympia. Now, although I don't use negative, I do my best not to use negative rhetoric, I still have had the term war criminal leveled against me just for trying to open up space. By the same token, mind you, by the same token, I have seen the powers that be in Judaism, the Anti-Defamation League, Stand With Us, levy the term self-hating Jew against those people who say, Israel, you're doing it wrong. These are the steps we want to take. We want to boycott. We want to divest from your corporations. We want to level economic sanctions. Myself, I don't support BDS. When it came before the school board, when it came before the board of trustees, I stood up in front of my peers and said something they didn't agree with at all. But that was my personal opinion. At an organizational level, I strive to build space, and even personally, I feel that space is needed. But to see these organizations tell these people that they are self-hating Jews for criticizing Israel, and then to turn around and come to Israel and be told that it is the responsibility of the diaspora Jew to make sure that Israel walks an ethical course, and to know that that's what these people at Evergreen were trying to do, even though those people are using methods I don't agree with, to do so leaves me with this question. What is the right way to be critical of Israel from the diaspora? So to be critical of a country that claims me as a part of its heritage. It is the Jewish state. It is my homeland. I do feel a deep connection here. How can I, from the diaspora, say, Israel, you're doing it wrong, in a manner that doesn't get me labeled a self-hating Jew, but is instead fulfilling this responsibility that, one, I feel, if this is the country representing me, that it should be representative of Jewish values in general. And when I say Jewish values in general, I mean values that can be construed as Jewish by any denomination of Judaism. What is the right way to be critical of Israel? How can I be, from outside of Israel, the Israeli societal equivalent of a hippie? You know, sitting there on the grass, singing my songs, pressing for change in society, without wanting to eliminate the nation as a whole. I don't want to see Israel going away. I want to see a strong and viable Jewish state. But I want to see a Jewish state wherein liberal Jews have a voice, wherein humanist Jews who don't even believe that there is a God, yet still identify with the ethics, the teachings, the history, the kavanah that is behind living a Jewish life for the betterment of yourself and the others around you. Israel's their homeland too. How do I critique it for not giving them a place at the table? How do I critique it if I feel they are treating the Palestinian people, who I admit have been displaced, and who I acknowledge are refusing to do the thing that refugees have done throughout the ages of assimilating into the country that they seek refuge in? Instead, they're maintaining this outside, this removed status, something that's been unprecedented in history, but it's been done, and we now have another nation without a home, something that we as Jews can deeply relate to. Now, if I feel that we're doing wrong by them, how can I address Israel, address that, in a way that doesn't render me a self-hating Jew, that doesn't try to weaken the very structure that is the state of Israel, because I want there to be a Jewish state. I want it to be a democratic state, and I want it to be a safe state. How do I, as a diaspora Jew, fulfill this charge pressed on me last night? That is the question that I'm going to be going through this conference with. If I can find people to sit down and ask that question of and have them answer, I'm hoping to compile those as well. But on the whole, this is what I'm looking for. This was the gala. This set the tone for the whole conference. We're going back into the diaspora. All of us are going back into the diaspora, and we are to bring back what we learn and strengthen the Jewish engagement and the Israel engagement in our communities. How can I strengthen Jewish engagement in a community that isn't comfortable with the Israel that Judaism asks it to engage with? Does Judaism ask Jews to engage with Israel? Can one engage from the diaspora with Israel in a critical yet constructive manner? These are questions. Hopefully by the end of this, I might have some answers.